Whether you're looking to improve your productivity, enhance your personal growth, or simply gain a better understanding of Stoic teachings, this video is for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more insights on self-improvement and philosophy. It sounds almost supernatural to wake up each day with an undeniable sense of purpose that is unaffected by obstacles, undisturbed by the commotion around you, and fiercely focused on what really matters. However, this was the day-to-day existence of one of the most influential individuals in antiquity, Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor. According to his own records, we are delving deep into the core of Stoicism and examining its ideals, not as merely intangible ideas, but as practical strategies for living a more disciplined, fulfilled life. This collection of writings that has endured millennia is not just reflections of a bygone era. Rather, it offers remarkably pertinent suggestions on how to effectively utilize the effectiveness of self-control amidst the noise of modern life. Whether you are finding inner peace, trying to reduce daily stress, or trying to increase productivity, Stoicism teaches us how to turn adversity into an advantage, emotional turmoil into tranquility, and life's unpredictable events into a source of strength. Understanding the Stoicism approach of life offers profound insights in a world full of endless distractions and instant gratifications. The Stoic philosophy is based on the values of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. It aims to help people thrive in life regardless of the hardships they face. If you are willing to change the way you see and approach life's obstacles, keep checking back as we explore Marcus Aurelius' profound lessons on life-changing principles and how to implement them to develop a strong, disciplined lifestyle. As we begin our journey through the great teachings of Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy today, I kindly ask that you do me a favor by clicking the subscribe button. Thank you. Additionally, watch the entire video, since, if you are here, you are not like most people, so consider yourself an exception. Keep watching for the special insights that we will discuss. Finding your mission is the first step towards developing self-discipline, according to Marcus Aurelius' philosophy. But what does it actually mean to find your purpose? It is about figuring out what really matters to you and what motivates you on a deeper level, then coordinating your everyday activities with that calling. Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about living in harmony with nature, which is Stoic speak for realizing your place in the greater scheme of things and behaving in accordance with your virtues. For Aurelius, living in harmony with nature meant knowing your purpose was not just a lofty ideal, but also a practical compass that helped him make every decision, from the small to the large. He felt that knowing one's purpose is what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning, ready to face the challenges of the day, and it keeps you steady when temptations tempt you to stray. It is not about grandiose accomplishments or external recognition, but rather about carrying out the responsibilities life has set for you, performing each task with dedication and integrity in a contemporary setting. Identifying your mission can sometimes seem impossible. Our environment is full of options and detours that might divert us from our genuine trajectories. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes indispensable rather than merely useful. Stoicism encourages us to ask ourselves questions such as, what is truly worth my time and energy? In what way can how I act today contribute toward the betterment of others and to my personal development? Stoicism shows us to peel back the layers of surface desires and momentary feelings to reveal what is truly essential for our well-being and growth. As we examine how to put this principle into practice in our lives, consider what draws you in and gives you a deep sense of satisfaction, or what challenges drive you to overcome. These are indicators of your purpose, which can be found by engaging in the Stoic practice of daily reflection, which is invaluable for consistently lining your choices with your purpose by saying no to things that do not serve you and yes to things that help you develop the self-discipline required to live an authentic and impactful life. Let us take Marcus Aurelius' insight and put it to use on a daily basis. Counting on oneself is not only about self-reliance, but an essential component of the Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the importance for one's own accountability and independence. This is not about isolation or rejecting assistance from others. Rather, it is about realizing that the full accountability for our actions, reactions, and personal growth rests within us. Ask yourself each morning, what am I meant to do today? And each evening, have I lived true to my purpose over time? This practice will not only build maturity, but also alter your life into a more calculated and fulfilling journey. The concept of Stoicism is centered on what we can control. Top priority Aurelius frequently talks about the strength of the individual in facing life's obstacles. By relying on oneself, we can access our inner fortitude and resiliency. This idea encourages us to have faith in our capacity to overcome life's uncertainties and hardships. It is about developing confidence via competence and a deep awareness of one's own abilities and qualities rather than via conceit. Being independent in today's linked society, when thoughts and guidance are always at our fingertips, is both freeing and intimidating. It can be difficult to learn to listen to our inner voice, but Stoicism teaches us to ignore the noise and have faith in our rational assessments, because it is grounded in reason and virtue. Aurelius thought that this inner wisdom was the most trustworthy counsel one could have. By relying on ourselves, we also develop freedom in our ways of making choices, which allows us to make decisions that are in line with our core beliefs and values as opposed to being swayed by outside pressures or fleeting emotions. This autonomy is essential for upholding one's integrity and leading a life that is authentic to oneself. So how can we begin to genuinely rely on ourselves? We start by taking baby steps, making obligations and keeping them, creating personal objectives and pursuing them on our own, and pausing to consider our choices and whether they are consistent with our core values. These routines help us develop self-control over time, which makes us less susceptible and steady when faced with obstacles in life. For Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic idea of living in harmony with nature was synonymous with showing up every day. He believed that nature required us to be fully engaged in life, no matter how insignificant or routine our actions may seem, and to make a positive impact on the world. Aurelius emphasized the power of perseverance in showing up every single day, not just in body but also in spirit. This method of living is not about massive efforts let loose irregularly, but it involves quiet, steady commitment to everyday duties, which as a whole forge a disciplined life. Every day offered a fresh opportunity to demonstrate one's dedication to one's obligations and ideals rather than engage in large-scale conflicts. Character is developed and put to the test via consistency and daily effort. In today's society, where there are numerous distractions and ephemeral motives, the idea of consistently showing up gains even more relevance. Here, it is simple to be totally off course one day and inspired the next. We learn the value of consistency from Stoicism. True discipline is cultivated by our activities' regularity rather than their intensity. This is not to say that every day must be a productivity masterpiece. Rather, it is to emphasize the importance of not letting a day pass you by unrecognized or underutilized. Whether it is developing our relationships, strengthening our careers, or getting healthier, the basic but frequently neglected commitment to show up every day is necessary for success in any area. Additionally, showing up every day is closely linked to the Stoic practice of mindfulness, which is being present in the now and carrying out today's tasks without being burdened by yesterday's failures or tomorrow's fears. Marcus Aurelius wrote a great deal on living in the moment and giving the task at hand one's all. It is this focus that transforms effort into improvement and routine into ritual. This discipline begins with you deciding what it means to show up. It could be as easy as writing a paragraph in a book you have been meaning to write, working out for 5 minutes, or spending 10 uninterrupted minutes with a loved one. It is not the scale that changes us. Rather, it is the act of showing up every day that you fulfill your commitment, strengthening your resolve and fostering the resilience that characterizes Stoic philosophy. You become a living example of the Stoic philosophy and personal accountability and ongoing self-improvement by committing to this daily practice. It suggests that even though we cannot control the results, we can control our efforts by consistently turning up. We discover the discipline required to live a meaningful and purposeful life. Marcus Aurelius strongly supported Stoic practice, which is about much more than just purposefully making life difficult. It is about preparing oneself for life's uncertainties, building resilience, and developing a deeper appreciation for what one has. Marcus Aurelius and many other Stoics hold that going through discomfort on a voluntary basis strengthens the mind against moments when life may impose discomfort upon us. This could involve making the decision to forego some luxuries, overcoming physical obstacles, or even just exercising self-denial in small daily decisions. The reasoning is simple: if you are used to suffering, unexpected difficulties will not knock you off balance. You are strengthening your resilience muscles, so to speak, so you can handle life's obstacles with composure. But why? In a world that is always trying to make us feel comfortable, should we embrace discomfort? The answer is found in the foundations of Stoic philosophy. Growth frequently occurs on the limits of comfort zones. By choosing to enter uncomfortable situations, we stretch our mental and emotional boundaries in addition to testing them. This exercise aims to change perspective from considering comfort as a need to considering it as an indulgence that we can live without, rather than hurting oneself. In addition, voluntary hardship helps us connect to the reality that many people live with unintentionally every day. This connection can foster empathy, humility, and a greater comprehension of the human condition, anchoring us more firmly in the truth of the world we share with others. It is easy to take everyday comforts for granted, but when you occasionally live without them, you start to value them more profoundly. This could be as simple as choosing to walk instead of drive, which could enhance your gratitude for mobility and health. So how can we incorporate this practice into our daily lives? Start small and pick something doable, like getting up an hour earlier than usual, putting a stop to your technology use for the day, or opting to take the stairs rather than the elevator. What matters is that the regularity and intention behind the practice, not the difficulty of the task itself. Every deliberate, uncomfortable act is a step toward developing stronger willpower and self-control. This idea makes a distinction between what is and is not under our control, encouraging us to concentrate all of our efforts on the former. Although it seems straightforward, this idea can significantly alter how we approach the difficulties we face in life, lowering stress and encouraging a stronger sense of calm and fortitude. What, therefore, is under our control? In the eyes of Stoicism, it is basically our own deeds, judgments, thoughts, will, and responses. These are the domains in which we possess agency, regardless of external factors such as other people's behavior or worldwide occurrences that are outside our direct control. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius repeatedly emphasized this point. While we can influence external events, we cannot fully control them. Becoming frustrated or disturbed by things that are not within our control is not only pointless, but also detrimental to our well-being. This is the beginning of practicing the dichotomy of control. By concentrating on our own acts and letting go of our connection to outcomes, we may keep our tranquility and effectiveness regardless of circumstances. This is a fact that the Stoic learns to accept, not passively, but as a freeing truth. This does not mean that we stop caring about the outside world. Rather, it means that we interact with it more positively and focus our energies in areas where they can truly have an impact on day-to-day living. Using the disparity of control involves considering whether or not we have any control over a situation before acting. Let it go and move on if it is not the Stoic approach. This is easier said than done. Of course, it calls for mindfulness training and the periodic reminder of what is actually within our realm of influence. Furthermore, Stoicism instructs us to find contentment in the pursuit itself through our adherence to our values and in the effort we put forth. This approach has practical implications regarding the way we set goals and expect outcomes while we strive to achieve our goals. Tying our happiness or self-worth to the realization of outcomes determined by numerous external factors is setting ourselves up for frustration. By adhering to this principle, we not only improve our own lives, but also have the ability to positively impact others around us. By setting an example of composure and perseverance in the face of life's inevitable uncertainties, Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic philosophers did not promise a life without challenges. Instead, they offered an approach for maintaining inner peace and dignity regardless of life's highs and lows. This idea entails a Stoic dedication to self-mastery and a deep grasp of personal responsibility, rather than giving in to a victim mentality in which one considers oneself as a helpless object of life's adversities. The core of the Stoic notion that our well-being and tranquility of mind are more affected by our inner state than by external events is that Stoicism empowers us to take charge of our perceptions and reactions. The aim here is to change the focus from what occurs to us to how we respond to what happens, not to minimize the challenges or injustices that one may encounter. According to Aurelius, we have a choice about how we will let every external incident to define us. By choosing not to play the victim, we reject the notion that our mental health is dependent on outside events. This is a freeing insight that allows for increased resilience and personal development. To put this idea into practice, we begin by watching our automatic reactions to difficult circumstances. Do we look for outside causes or people to blame right away? Do we focus more on whining about the situation than on finding a solution? In order to change these patterns, we must acknowledge our hurts and disappointments while simultaneously realizing that we are capable of moving forward in spite of them. This requires us to comprehend our feelings more fully and to refocus our energies in a more positive way. Furthermore, this Stoic philosophy empowers us to view every challenge as a chance to grow in virtue and fortify our character. This proactive and empowering viewpoint turns possible powerlessness into opportunities for us to exercise our agency. This means that we do not live at the mercy of life's ups and downs. Rather, we achieve a state where our happiness is not easily disrupted by it. In this way, we live not at the mercy of our situations, but in accordance with our core values regardless of what life throws at us. Each challenge becomes a test of our devotion to our beliefs and an opportunity to demonstrate fortitude, perseverance, and resilience, qualities that define the Stoic ideal. By never playing the victim, we embody the Stoic ideal of emotional independence. In the Stoic perspective, Marcus Aurelius promoted this idea as a means of achieving greater freedom and fulfillment in addition to serving as a personal discipline. Delaying gratification to control one's impulses does not mean giving up pleasure. Rather, it means obtaining a higher level of fulfillment that is consistent with one's values and long-term objectives. In the Stoic sense, delayed gratification refers to deliberately delaying desires in order to reap more substantial and long-lasting benefits. It involves making decisions that, while not providing immediate gratification, promote long-term well-being and personal development. This idea is especially important in today's world of instant gratification, where having the patience to wait for something greater is an uncommon and essential trait. Being enslaved to transient pleasures could result in a loss of freedom because one becomes captive to their whims and impulses. Instead, by practicing restraint and making decisions based on reason and foresight, we can cultivate a life that is not just filled with transient pleasures, but also with long-lasting tranquility and contentment. This was the thinking behind the delayed gratification practice advocated by Stoics like Aurelius. Simple behaviors like conserving money instead of impulsively spending it, selecting a nutritious meal over fast food, or even setting aside time for study or skill practice instead of immediate leisure activities are all good places to start when incorporating delayed gratification into daily life. Every decision made here supports the Stoic practice of putting long-term benefits ahead of ease or pleasure in the short term. The benefits of this practice are manifold, as psychological research backs up the Stoic theory that links postponing gratification to improved results in relationships, career, education, health, and personal life. Postponing immediate gratification is a skill that helps people manage stress, achieve their goals, and lead healthier, more fulfilling lives. This idea goes beyond simply avoiding negative feedback. It also involves developing a mental resilience that enables you to stay focused on your objectives and steadfast in your convictions even in the face of doubt and skepticism from others. Stoics believe that since one cannot control other people's praise or disapproval, one should not rely on it for self-validation or direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote a great deal about concentrating only on the thoughts and deeds that one can control, stressing that true serenity originates within and cannot be disturbed by opinions or acts from without. This Stoic indifference allows us to filter out noise that does not, in the real world, serve our higher objectives or match with our beliefs. It is not about dismissing other people. Rather, it is about preserving an internal locus of control. In today's society, where opinions abound and criticism is frequently accessible with only a click, it is imperative to ignore those who voice doubts. It entails realizing that, while helpful criticism can be beneficial for personal development, it is crucial to distinguish that unjustified criticism should not turn us away from our goals. Stoicism encourages us to consider the validity of the criticism we hear and if it is well-informed, well-intentioned, and consistent with our basic beliefs. Furthermore, putting this notion into practice entails developing a personal worldview resilient enough to resist outside influences. It is about acting with confidence based on a thorough comprehension of your own goals and ideals rather than conceit. This is what Marcus Aurelius consistently did as an emperor and as a person attempting to live virtuously in a complicated world. Being able to step outside of this cycle and stay true to oneself is both rare and powerful in adopting the Stoic practice of ignoring naysayers. In a culture that frequently emphasizes the social validation loop, being able to ignore critics also enhances our emotional resilience, making us less vulnerable to negative opinions and more focused on our long-term vision. It is about not letting outside noise distract us from our internal dialogue, the one that really shapes our lives, and actively choosing where to focus our emotional energy. This idea is based on the thought that a large portion of our learning and personal growth comes from studying and thinking about the lives of those who have mastered virtues. Our goal in emulating wise people is to improve our own character and judgment by learning from their example, not by imitating them. Even though he was an emperor, Marcus Aurelius frequently expressed in his writings his appreciation for the traits of historical and contemporary people. For him and other Stoics, emulating these people was a means of internalizing their virtues and strengths. Wisdom was not merely academic knowledge. Rather, it was a practical manual for living well that could be best grasped by observing the deeds of people who had successfully implemented these ideas within the Stoic framework. Choosing someone to aspire to is about identifying someone who exhibit the Stoic qualities of wisdom, bravery, righteousness, and temperance. These individuals could be fictional characters from literature or history who exhibit traits like fortitude, moral rectitude, and reasoned thought. Finding people whose lives offer a blueprint for overcoming obstacles with grace and tenacity is crucial. Applying this idea in the modern era entails choosing role models carefully whose principles coincide with our goals. It is not just admiration. It is also a critical examination of how these people live their lives, make decisions, and deal with hardship. This exercise asks us to consider what aspects of this person's way of thinking or attitude I may use to my own life to better my behavior and decisions. Furthermore, modeling wise people aids in bridging the gap between abstract philosophical ideas and practical acts. It offers a practical illustration of how Stoic principles can be applied. This not only makes these principles more approachable but also more persuasive, because we can observe the real-world effects of Stoic virtues in the lives of the people we admire. By seeking out and imitating wise people, we are participating in a dynamic process of learning and personal development, setting a high bar for our own behavior and decisions and surrounding ourselves with the influence of virtuous individuals helps us become the wise people we aspire to be. It is a proactive approach to personal development that reinforces our commitment to growth and excellence. This practice entails a comprehensive and reflective analysis of one's thoughts, behaviors, and responses rather than just retelling events. Determining if these actions are consistent with one's ideals and Stoic virtues, such as knowledge, justice, courage, and moderation, is the key. For Stoics, this introspective process is essential because it acts as a feedback loop that increases awareness of one's actions and decisions, instead of dwelling on errors or engaging in self-criticism. The goal of this daily review is to observe and make adjustments. It is about taking lessons from each day's experiences and using those lessons to continuously improve oneself. Marcus Aurelius employed this strategy to make sure he was fulfilling his obligations as an emperor while also developing as a philosopher and a person. This practice encourages us to conclude each day with a minute of peaceful reflection. During this time, you can ask yourself numerous important questions. Bringing this practice into modern living can be immensely beneficial. How did I handle obstacles today? Did I behave morally? What could I have done better? Reflecting on these questions can help you become more self-aware and lead a more purposeful and intentional life. It can also help you feel peaceful and fulfilled at the end of the day because it enables you to deal with any unresolved issues or worries by facing them head-on rather than letting them carry over into the next day. Were there times when I lost control, and why? In our fast-paced world, where it is easy to lose sight of our deeper goals amid daily distractions and pressures, this can be especially powerful. By honestly reviewing your day, you engage in a gentle yet rigorous form of self-accountability. It is about recognizing your strengths and acknowledging areas for improvement without passing judgment, as it teaches you to be both the student and the teacher on your life's journey, continuously learning from your own experiences and seeking to embody the virtues that constitute Stoicism throughout time. This Stoic habit develops resilience and wisdom. This practice can change your perspective on life and help you live a life that is more closely aligned with the values you hold dear. Are you drawn to the Stoic philosophy as a compass for navigating today's world? The Stoic Scripts community invites you to join our fellowship to ensure a continuous flow of wisdom and inspiration. Hit the subscribe button and enable notifications. Your next breakthrough in living a fulfilling life could be just a click away. We appreciate your engagement in this shared exploration.